welcome to A Little More Light podcast. This is such an exciting thing that we're doing, this new podcast, A Little More Light. I know a lot of people have asked me, Rabbi Chalom, why don't you do a podcast? Get on there, get set up, and let's go share your thoughts. So here I am sharing my thoughts, and there is a lot to talk about. This week is a crazy week in the world. This week is a week where we see Ukraine being invaded. The Russians are coming down. The market is collapsing. The economies around the world are going crazy. Europe is saying we're going to be sending troops. Ukraine is applying for membership into the Euro, into NATO, which means that if they do get accepted, what happens is the entire world is going to war against Russia. Because once NATO is in, that means the US is in as well. And who knows what the Chinese are going to do. And so these are very, very scary times. We all seen the president of Ukraine speak in just a regular t-shirt, dressing his people, saying we are going to fight. We know we're not alone, but we need everyone around the world to let their voices be heard. And so this was a very, very emotional, very inspiring moment. The president of Ukraine is of a Jewish background. One thing that he said that years ago after the Holocaust, we said never again. Never would a country just invade another one and just take what's not theirs. And a few weeks ago, they had a Holocaust memorial right there, and everyone came and said those words, never again. But what do we see? We see that, unfortunately, Putin decided, we don't care, we're going to invade, we're going to do whatever we want. And so these times are just very, very scary, very critical, because we don't know what the future might be. Ukraine is finding themselves alone. And this is the topic I want to talk today. Because the fact that Ukraine is finding themselves alone could be a source of inspiration for all of us. You know, all of us go through moments where we feel alone. We feel like maybe there is no one out there looking out for us. And it's very easy to find ourselves in those moments. When you break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, when you get fired from a job, when someone says something mean to you, when your friends are letting you down, or they're going out and they're not calling you. And then you look at yourself and say, no one really loves me. No one really cares about me. What am I supposed to do? So one of the greatest inspiration in Judaism came from a man named David. Now, David was just a little boy. He was the youngest of many, many brothers. We know David ended up being King David. But how did that all start? Well, you see, there's a prophet we talk about that came and said, the next king of Israel is in the house of Ishai. And so he goes to this man Ishai, he says, show me all your sons. And Ishai shows him all of his sons. And he goes, this one is strong, this one is a businessman, this one is smart, this one is this and that. And the prophet is looking at all of his sons and he's saying, maybe something is wrong over here. God cannot be wrong. There has to be something wrong because I don't see the next king over here. So Ishai said, what do you mean? Look at this one, my oldest, he's so strong. Look at this one, he's tall, beautiful. The prophet said no. He says, are you sure this is all your sons? He says, well, I have a little one, like 16, 19. He's in the field, he's just a shepherd. He does nothing all day. He's also my son, but I didn't think to bring him because he's not really that caliber. And Shmuel, the prophet, said, bring him. I told you to bring all of your sons. And so he brings him. And Shmuel says, this is the one. And the father says, it's impossible. He's just a nobody. His own father didn't have any belief in him. We know that David went to visit his brothers at the war camp when they're fighting the giant Goliath. Goliath was a very, very strong warrior, taller than any soldiers that ever walked the earth at the time. He was muscular. He had a huge sword. He was so scary as an individual. And when David visited his brothers, everyone was just lounging around. And he asked them, he says, what's going on over here? And they say to him, well, this giant, this monster is coming every day and he's laughing at us. He says, let's do a one-on-one battle. One person against me, whoever wins takes over each other's territory. And they were all afraid. And so David said, I don't understand why everyone is so afraid. Don't we have God on our side? Why do we care about this giant? We have God. So he says, I'm going to go fight him. And everybody laughed at him. He says, look, you don't have any muscles. You're skinny. You're little. You're just a young kid. What are you going to do against this giant? He says, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going because we have God's blessings. I know that Israel belongs to us. And so they decided, you know what, it's just a kid. If he loses, we'll say he was just a kid. It wasn't for real. And he goes, and we know the story. David takes a little tiny pebble, maybe this big, and starts swinging. And Goliath is laughing at him. And he's taking out his sword and he's running toward him. And David throws this stone, and the stone hits the giant on the forehead, and the giant collapses. And so, you know what's beautiful about this story? It's a very ancient, old story. But what's beautiful about it is the fact that no one had any belief in little David. Not even his dad, not even his brother, no one in the army. But you know what was his biggest strength? He was pure. He was innocent. He believed that when the prophet said, we're going to win, we're going to be here, he believed it. And he said, it doesn't matter if it's me or a stronger person. It just matters that we go and we believe. And so, thinking about Ukraine, it reminded me of this story. It reminded me of the story of David. It reminded me how everyone basically wrote them off, said, you're not going to be successful. You're going to disappear. No one can help you. Look at how powerful this giant is. Look how powerful Putin is. Look how powerful Russia is. You're going to get crushed. And so when we say our thoughts and prayers is with Ukraine, what we mean is we believe in you. And you have to know that in order for you to succeed at anything, you don't need anyone's affirmation. What you need is your own affirmation and self-belief. You need to believe that you are here for a reason, that you are special, that you matter, that you are here because there is something great you have to do. When you believe that, then God is going to say, you know what, I was just waiting for you to believe. Not to calculate. You see, what we do is we count our odds. We're saying, I'm going to go to a good school, I'm going to get good grades, and then I'm going to go to a great school or a great college. The problem with that, of course, we need to work hard, but we can't say to ourselves that that's all we need to do. Because even if you get a good college degree, who knows if you're going to get a job? When you get a job, who knows what kind of company you're going to work for? Who knows what your boss is going to be like? Who knows if you're going to like it? Maybe you'll be miserable. I always tell people, don't let others define you by what you do. Because what you do is not who you are. And if you're focusing on who you are as an individual, but also who you are meant to be, and you believe that you have some unique talents, which we all do, by the way. It's the big secret that everyone believes about themselves, but no one talks about it. No one talks about the fact that they know that they are special, that there is a spark inside them that makes them unique. Maybe you're more sensitive than other people. Maybe your mindset is stronger than other people. Maybe you're intelligent. Maybe there's so many different layers, maybe emotionally, you're able to connect with people in a better and a more efficient way than everyone else. And maybe you don't even know what your talent is. And so the first thing to do is to start learning about who you are. And when you learn about who you are, then automatically what you do is coming after automatically and successfully. Meaning, if you figure out that what you are is a person who's courageous, if what you are is a person who works hard, if what you are is somebody who treats others with love and respect, even when they don't treat you the same way, if what you are is you're a good family person, and you work on nurturing that aspect about yourself, eventually what you do is going to come naturally, and you will not only be successful at it, but you will love it. And so in conclusion, we all have to remember also that as a rabbi, I'm talking to you about Israel, and I'm talking to you about the story of the Jewish people and what happened in Israel at the creation of Israel. When all the countries came to attack the little tiny country of Israel, 40,000 soldiers against millions of soldiers, and somehow they won. Everyone said, it was nice to have the Jews, it was nice to have Israel for a few days, but they will disappear. Because the day of their independence was the day that countries all around them, this country that had military, at the time, modern militaries, came and attacked the little country of Israel, and somehow they survived. And you know what? It's not unique to Israel. Anyone has that. As long as you believe, you have that, whether you're Jewish, whether you're not Jewish, because what unites us is that we are on the side of good. And so I really hope and pray that Ukraine will see a miracle, that Putin will be pushed back, that the world will stand for what's right, and that the world will talk and do in defense and protection of the people of Ukraine. Signing off, Rabbi Chalom. One little message. Make sure to subscribe, to like. We want to see this channel grow, and we can only do that with all of you. So thank you so much, and until next time.